A new theory is already surrounding Brock Lesnar, so we'll see what's happening there. We'll also check out what's new for Jade Cargill, John Cena, and more. Starting things off with a new theory for Brock Lesnar. As everyone knows by now, Brock Lesnar made a surprise return during the closing moments of SummerSlam to take out John Cena, and the immediate questions everyone had were, why did Brock target John Cena? Why target someone that no longer has the gold? What's the purpose there? And those questions have led to this new theory that Brock Lesnar is potentially not working alone. It was not Brock's sole decision to walk out there and take out John Cena, but that Brock Lesnar is actively working for someone and was instructed to do that attack on Cena. That's an interesting idea that does make the moment make more sense. Because it's not about the championship gold, it's more about Brock Lesnar being a hitman for someone and delivering that hit on John Cena. So now when it comes to who's calling the shots for Brock Lesnar, there's only one man that makes sense to be behind the shots, and that's The Rock. On the SmackDown before SummerSlam, we saw John Cena turn babyface through a quick promo. John Cena took heavy jabs at The Rock and Travis Scott for leaving his side after Elimination Chamber, and how he was left alone to pretend to be someone he's not, of course referring to his heel persona. So John Cena slammed The Rock and Travis Scott right there and instantly reverted to his babyface nature. Maybe it's hard for The Rock to show up right now in person to confront John Cena, so The Rock did the next best thing he can think of. He flexed his board of directors' power to bring in Brock Lesnar, and not only bring him back to the company, but order him to attack John Cena on his first night back, due to Cena's disrespectful remarks that were made on the SmackDown before SummerSlam. Since John Cena wanted to revert to his babyface ways and throw The Rock under the bus in the process, The Rock figured that the perfect response was to send in Brock Lesnar to make John Cena pay. There's not a bigger potential hitman in pro wrestling out there right now than Brock Lesnar, so Brock being The Rock's #1 enforcer does make perfect sense. The Rock doesn't like John Cena erasing the heel turn and all those other slick remarks he made along the way, so sending in an enforcer to take care of Cena is the only way to fix that at the moment. What's interesting though, if this theory is somewhat accurate, what happens if Brock Lesnar fails this mission? Maybe The Rock told Brock Lesnar to take John Cena out of action and end this farewell tour way earlier than December. But with John Cena being back in full strength as a babyface, back as Super Cena, it's very possible that John Cena does find a way to take out Brock Lesnar and successfully defeat him. So assuming that Brock does fail with that mission, what's next for The Rock to do? Will The Rock continue to send in big enforcers and watch them all get knocked down by John Cena one at a time? And it's a concept we've definitely talked about in the past, but it applies here too with this theory. But what if all roads lead to the final boss being John Cena's last ever opponent in December 2025? The Rock spends the next few months watching everyone he sends in get destroyed by John Cena. So by the time December rolls around, The Rock finally figures that if you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. So he stops with the enforcers and decides to handle John Cena one-on-one himself and embarrass John Cena in John's final match. It will be The Rock and John Cena's third match against each other. The rubber match, since they both have one win apiece in head-to-head action. This match would determine who wins that series and gets more wins over the other. The last time The Rock was pinned at all by anybody was at WrestleMania 29 against John Cena. The Rock has not suffered a pinfall loss since 2013 against Cena. So if John Cena is able to do it again and pin The Rock in December, give him his first pinfall loss in 12 years, that is a pretty fitting last win for John's career. They don't need a title on the line or any stipulation. The stakes are already high enough knowing that this is John Cena's final match. If he loses, there is no second chances. Obviously, there is no rematch. He goes out a loser. But if he wins, he completes a nice arc there and overcomes the final boss, who did play a big role in that heel turn from earlier in the year. John Cena goes out on top as a winner by defeating The Rock. So in an ideal situation, that would be a perfectly fitting final match for John Cena. A lot of fans are slamming John Cena's heel run for being a big waste of time, extremely unsuccessful, and probably the biggest disappointment of all time for a heel turn that had so much potential, but quickly fell apart. A lot of fans also don't like the anticlimactic babyface turn for John Cena. He spent 5 months as a heel turn that was 20 plus years in the making, and everything just gets erased in a 5-minute promo. It feels lazy, it feels like a white flag being waved by the creative team, and that didn't really sit well with fans. Such a bland and flat way to close out what we thought was a big partnership storyline between The Rock and John Cena. However, if The Rock does return at the end of the year to serve as the final boss and final opponent for John Cena's entire career, maybe that would help ease the plot holes that were left from The Rock's disappearance after March. A lot of fans have wondered what the direction of John Cena's last few months would look like without the title being in play. But if the final months are all about The Rock throwing obstacles in John Cena's way before finally jumping in the ring himself in December, that would be an amazing final program for Cena. But as we know, when it comes to The Rock and WWE appearances, things could get shaky, but it would be an insane final match and story for John Cena if it went down like that. Now let's get into Jade Cargill, because what went down at SummerSlam was extremely unexpected. Jade Cargill has been on a monster push over the last few months. She outlasted everyone to win the Queen of the Ring tournament, defeated Naomi in a big Evolution match, and became #1 contender for the women's title heading into SummerSlam. The push was looking so strong that everyone pretty much wrote Tiffany Stratton off for SummerSlam. Everyone was highly anticipating for Jade Cargill to dethrone Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam. It was very expected for that moment to take place. Tiffany's reign went over 200 days recently, but hasn't had a hot program in the title reign since April, so many fans thought it would shift over to Jade. But to everyone's surprise, Jade Cargill lost cleanly to Tiffany's moonsault, which honestly was one of the more surprising outcomes of the SummerSlam weekend. Everyone thought this was it. This was the crowning night for Jade Cargill's push to the moon. But that did not happen. And since that loss took place, reports have been claiming that it's definitely a weird look because the company originally had big plans for Jade Cargill. The Unreal Netflix series revealed that Jade Cargill was supposed to dethrone Nia Jax as women's champion several months before WrestleMania 41, and then defend her title at WrestleMania. But Jade's late 2024 injury threw those plans out of whack. Then they have a chance here to put the women's title on Jade at SummerSlam, coming off all that recent momentum, but they decide not to pull the trigger, maybe implying that Jade isn't ready for the title the way they previously thought she was. So definitely a concerning loss because the company had plans to make her champion several months ago, but now that seems to no longer be the case for whatever reason. Another important detail of the story is taking place on social media, with Jade Cargill directly responding to negative comments from fans. Fans were saying all these bad things about her and she was quoting the posts, agreeing with them. But Jade has since deleted those posts. But the one she did leave up was of her saying "y'all win," along with her photo being devastated from SummerSlam, as if she was giving up on everything the haters were saying. So telling by even those deleted posts, it surely looks like Jade Cargill hears the noise from fans. But hopefully she doesn't give up and continues to fight to get back up to being that champion caliber superstar that the company originally viewed her as. You got some fans also wondering if this SummerSlam loss could be setting up, maybe not a full-blown heel turn, but at least a little shift in Jade's attitude and persona. Before she was riding high and cruising on the momentum, but maybe this big loss really makes her lock in and get even more serious and intense. So the original champion plans for Jade Cargill may be scrapped, but she can surely work her way back to that position. So that's something that fans will be looking forward to. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.